Babylon 5 gave us alien wars, powerful empires, and heroes who seemed impossible to destroy. But behind the makeup and costumes were stars battling addiction, schizophrenia, deadly illness, and heartbreaking family tragedy. Some of their real-life endings became even darker than the show itself. Join us as we uncover what really happened to the cast in 2026. Andreas Katsulas as G'Kar. The red-skinned Narn ambassador with glowing eyes, explosive courtroom speeches, and the haunting stare that made G'Kar unforgettable in Babylon 5 was portrayed by Andreas Katsulas. Born on May 18, 1946, in St. Louis, Missouri, Katsulas was 47 years old when he slowly transformed G'Kar into the emotional soul of Babylon 5. The role became the defining performance of his career and turned him into one of the most respected actors in television sci-fi history. Sadly, Andreas Katsulas passed away on February 13, 2006, at the age of 59 after metastatic lung cancer spread aggressively through his body and left him severely weakened during his last months. His death devastated Babylon 5 fans across the world. That quiet suffering had followed Katsulas through much of his life. His father died suddenly while Andreas was still a teenager, and that loss stayed with him for years. During the 1990s, his schedule became packed with Babylon 5 filming, fan conventions, and projects like The Fugitive. He spent long periods away from home, and his first marriage slowly fell apart because of the constant distance. Later, he married Gugu Katsulas and seemed much happier, but his lung cancer diagnosis in the early 2000s changed his life completely. Even today, many fans still remember him as one of the strongest and most emotional actors in Babylon 5. Jerry Doyle as Michael Garibaldi. Michael Garibaldi, the chain-smoking security chief with slicked-back hair, sharp sarcasm, and constant fights against addiction in Babylon 5, was brought to life by Jerry Doyle. Born on July 16, 1956, in Brooklyn, New York, Doyle was 37 years old when his portrayal of Garibaldi quickly made him one of the show's most relatable characters. Doyle's performance earned him a loyal cult following that lasted long after the show ended. After Babylon 5, Doyle reinvented himself as a political radio host with The Jerry Doyle Show, but his private life was becoming increasingly unstable behind the scenes. On July 27, 2016, he was found dead alone inside his Las Vegas home at the age of 60, with reports later linking his death to severe health complications connected to chronic alcoholism. That tragic ending did not happen overnight. Doyle's personal life began unraveling after his marriage to Andrea Thompson started collapsing only a short time after their 1995 wedding. The couple met while filming Babylon 5, but after the birth of their son, Alec Doyle, the pressure of television fame pushed the relationship into crisis until they divorced in 1997. The breakup hit Jerry especially hard. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, stories about his heavy drinking became increasingly tied to his public appearances. Even though he successfully rebuilt himself as a radio host, the alcoholism continued damaging his health for years and ultimately led to the lonely death that stunned Babylon 5 fans in 2016. Mira Furlan as Delenn. With her pale bone crest, elegant robes, and calm but commanding presence, Delenn became one of the most unforgettable leaders in Babylon 5. Born on September 7, 1955, in Croatia, Mira was 38 years old when she took the role and quickly became one of the emotional centers of Babylon 5 through her graceful and deeply human performance. The success of Delenn completely rebuilt her career after she arrived in the United States as a refugee during the Yugoslav Wars. On January 20, 2021, Mira Furlan passed away at the age of 65 after complications caused by West Nile virus, a rare mosquito-borne disease that severely damaged her nervous system. Her death shocked both Hollywood and Babylon 5 fans because the illness is uncommon and often difficult to detect until the condition becomes critical. By the time of her passing, she had built an estimated net worth of around $5 million through decades of acting work in Europe and America. That success came after years of chaos and fear in her personal life. During the Croatian War of Independence in the early 1990s, Mira refused to support political division and continued acting in theaters in both Croatia and Serbia. The decision caused huge backlash in Croatia. Newspapers publicly attacked her, she lost her job at the Croatian National Theater, and the apartment inherited from her family was taken away. After receiving death threats, Mira and her husband, director Goran Gajic, fled to America in 1991 with almost no money and had to rebuild their lives from the beginning. She even worked as a waitress before finally finding stability again through Babylon 5. For many fans, Mira Furlan will always be remembered as the quiet strength behind Delenn. Richard Biggs as Dr. Stephen Franklin. Fans of Babylon 5 still remember Dr. Stephen Franklin for his calm medical advice, emotional addiction storyline, and steady voice during the station's darkest moments, all performed by Richard Biggs. Born on March 18, 1960, in Columbus, Ohio, Biggs was 34 years old when he joined the series in 1994, and his natural performance helped make Dr. Franklin one of the most realistic and relatable characters on the show. The role became the biggest breakthrough of his career and introduced him to science fiction audiences around the world. Richard Biggs passed away suddenly on May 22, 2004, at the age of 44 after collapsing inside his Los Angeles home. Doctors later confirmed the cause of death as aortic dissection, a catastrophic tear in the major artery connected to the heart. His death stunned the Babylon 5 cast and fans because he had not publicly shown signs of severe illness before his sudden collapse. At the time of his death, he had built an estimated net worth of around $1.2 million through acting and convention appearances. That heartbreaking loss came after years of overcoming physical and personal struggles. Richard was completely deaf in one ear, while the hearing in his other ear was also badly damaged, forcing him to rely heavily on lip reading during acting classes at USC. Even after becoming successful, he still had to work harder than many actors just to manage dialogue timing and vocal control on set. Later, after marrying Lori K. Biggs in 1998 and raising 2 sons, he spent years balancing family responsibilities with steady television work to support them financially. His sudden death became the first major tragedy connected to the Babylon 5 cast, and many viewers still remember him as one of the warmest faces on the series. Stephen Furst, as Veer Cotto nervous, smiles, awkward body language. Veer Cotto's unforgettable reactions made him one of the most lovable characters in Babylon 5. Born on May 8, 1954, in Norfolk, Virginia, Furst was 40 years old when he played the role and quickly became one of the show's most recognizable supporting stars. The success of Veer Cotto introduced him to a whole new generation of science fiction fans during the 1990s. Stephen Furst passed away on June 16, 2017, at the age of 63 after years of severe health complications caused by type 2 diabetes. The illness gradually damaged his kidneys, severely affected his eyesight, and eventually forced doctors to amputate part of his foot. By the time of his death, he had built an estimated net worth of around $2 million through acting, directing, and convention appearances. His family later confirmed that diabetes-related complications had caused his death after a long and painful battle with the disease. That health battle consumed much of the second half of Furst's life. As his diabetes became more serious, he faced constant medical treatments and major lifestyle changes while still trying to continue working in television. The disease nearly left him blind and dramatically limited his mobility after part of his foot was amputated. Throughout those difficult years, his wife Lorraine Wright stayed beside him, and the couple remained together from 1976 until his death while raising their 2 sons, Nathan and Griff. Instead of hiding his illness, First later became an active spokesperson for the American Diabetes Association to warn others about the dangers of the disease. Many Babylon 5 fans still remember him as one of the warmest and most genuine actors from the series. Jeff Conaway as Zach Allen. Zach Allen, the tough security officer with slicked back hair, tired eyes, and constant tension behind his calm attitude, was played by Jeff Conaway. Born on October 5, 1950, in Manhattan, and raised in Queens, New York, Conaway was 44 years old when he joined Babylon 5 in 1994 and brought a rough, realistic edge to the station's security team. His performance helped make Zach Allen one of the show's most memorable later-season characters. Jeff Conaway passed away on May 27, 2011, at the age of 60 after being found unconscious from a drug overdose that led to severe pneumonia and sepsis. After days on life support, his family made the painful decision to remove his breathing tube and allow him to die peacefully. Years of addiction treatment, medical bills, and declining health had also left him struggling financially, and by the end of his life, his estimated net worth had reportedly fallen below $200,000. His death shocked many fans who had watched his physical condition deteriorate publicly during his final years. That tragic ending followed decades of addiction and personal collapse. Conaway suffered a serious back injury during his acting career, and the pain led to heavy use of prescription painkillers before his addiction expanded into drugs and alcohol. His personal life also became chaotic through 3 failed marriages, including his marriage to Rona Newton-John, the sister of Olivia Newton-John. In the late 2000s, his struggles became painfully public on the reality series Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, where viewers saw the former Hollywood star unable to control his behavior and sometimes forced to use a wheelchair because of his declining condition. Even today, many fans still see Jeff Conaway as one of Hollywood's saddest stories of addiction and lost fame. Julie Caitlin Brown as Na'Toth/Guinevere Corey. Under layers of heavy alien prosthetics, Na'Toth became one of the most recognizable Narn characters in Babylon 5 thanks to the intense performance of Julie Caitlin Brown. Born on January 27, 1961, Brown was 33 years old when she appeared on Babylon 5 in 1994 and quickly stood out through Na'Toth's sarcastic attitude and fierce loyalty to G'Kar. Her performance helped make the character memorable despite appearing mainly during the show's early seasons. As of 2026, Julie Caitlin Brown is 65 years old and continues working in entertainment through music, convention appearances, and talent management projects. Alongside acting, she also built a career as an independent singer and producer while staying active within the Babylon 5 fan community. Her long career in entertainment has helped her build an estimated net worth of around $2 million. The role of Na'Toth also created some of the hardest moments of Brown's career. The thick silicone makeup used for the character covered much of her head and face, and spending hours trapped inside the prosthetics triggered severe claustrophobia during filming. Eventually, the stress became too difficult to manage, and she left the role after the first season, only returning briefly later as a guest performer. Away from the show, Brown also dealt with several divorces while raising her child largely on her own and trying to survive in the entertainment industry without major studio support. Many fans still admire her determination to keep rebuilding her career over the years. Robert Rusler as Warren Keffer flying combat missions and chasing mysterious alien ships, Warren Keffer brought a more action-focused energy to Babylon 5 during its second season, with Robert Rusler taking on the role. Born on September 20, 1965, Rusler was 29 years old when he became one of the younger additions to the cast. His military-style performance helped push more fighter pilot storylines into the series during a period when the network wanted stronger action elements. As of 2026, Robert Rusler is 61 years old and still appears at fan conventions while continuing occasional work in independent films and television projects. Much of his later career has focused on smaller productions and horror movies, while he also dedicated time to family life with his wife, Erin Foster, and their 3 sons. His years in film and television have helped him maintain an estimated net worth of around $1.5 million. Rustler's experience on Babylon 5 became far more frustrating than expected after many viewers reacted coldly to Warren Keffer. Fans often criticized the character for feeling forced into the storyline, especially because the network strongly pushed for more action-oriented scenes during Season 2. When Keffer was suddenly killed off at the end of the season, Rustler reportedly struggled emotionally with the failure of the character and found it difficult to secure major television roles afterward. He later returned mainly through smaller supporting roles in low-budget horror films to continue supporting his family. Even years later, Warren Keffer remains one of the most debated characters in Babylon 5 history. Mary Kay Adams as Na'Toth. Hidden beneath thick Narn prosthetics and dark alien makeup, Na'Toth returned in Babylon 5 with Mary Kay Adams taking over the role during Season 2. Born on September 12, 1961, Adams was 32 years old when she joined Babylon 5 in 1994 and stepped into one of the show's most difficult recasts. Her version of Na'Toth arrived during a major transition period for the series and immediately faced intense attention from longtime viewers. As of 2026, Mary Kay Adams is 64 years old and has spent much of the last 2 decades living a quieter life away from mainstream Hollywood. She gradually reduced her television work during the 2000s and chose to stay largely out of the public spotlight afterward. Her years in television and entertainment have helped her build an estimated net worth of around $1.8 million. That quieter lifestyle came after a very stressful experience on Babylon 5. Adams entered the series while fans were still strongly attached to Julie Caitlin Brown's version of Na'Toth, forcing her into constant comparisons almost immediately. At the same time, the heavy prosthetic makeup and bulky costume made filming physically uncomfortable and difficult to endure during long shooting days. Because the new version of Na'Toth never fully connected with audiences, the character was eventually removed from the show altogether. After years of working in television, Adams slowly stepped away from Hollywood and kept her personal life almost completely private. Tracy Scoggins as Captain Elizabeth Lockley. Cold, disciplined, and constantly trying to earn the trust of the station crew, Captain Elizabeth Lockley became one of the most controversial commanders in Babylon 5 through the performance of Tracy Scoggins. Born on November 13, 1953 in Galveston, Texas, Scoggins was 45 years old when she joined Babylon 5 in 1998 and took over leadership of the station during the show's final season. Her strong and serious performance helped Lockley stand apart from the earlier commanders' audiences had already grown attached to. As of 2026, Tracy Scoggins is 73 years old and continues making occasional convention appearances while living a much quieter life away from major Hollywood productions. Outside acting, she has remained heavily involved in fitness, sports, and charity activities for many years. Her long television career has helped her build an estimated net worth of around $3 million. That calmer life came only after years of criticism from parts of the Babylon 5 fan base. Scoggins entered the series after the departure of Claudia Christian, and many loyal viewers reacted negatively to the sudden leadership change during Season 5. Early online forums and fan discussions often criticized Captain Lockley harshly, placing enormous pressure on Tracy while she was trying to establish the character. Away from the show, her brief marriage to John Cook ended quickly while she was still young, and afterward she chose to remain single and focus more on her career and personal interests instead of returning to married life. Even years later, Captain Lockley remains one of the most debated characters in Babylon 5 history. Walter Koenig as Alfred Bester. Cold smiles, piercing eyes, The terrifying calmness of Psy cop Alfred Bester turned him into one of the most feared villains in Babylon 5. Born on September 14, 1936 in Chicago, Illinois, Koenig was 58 years old when he played Alfred Bester in 1994 and quickly gave the series one of its strongest recurring antagonists. His performance as Bester introduced a much darker side of Walter Koenig to audiences who had known him for decades through science fiction television. As of 2026, Walter Koenig is 90 years old and continues making occasional appearances at fan conventions while living a quieter life away from regular acting work. Decades in television and film have helped him build an estimated net worth of around $8 million. Even in his later years, Koenig remains closely connected to both Babylon 5 and science fiction fans around the world. That peaceful later life came after one of the most devastating tragedies imaginable for a parent. In 2010, Walter's only son, actor Andrew Koenig, disappeared while struggling with severe depression. After days of searching, Andrew was found dead in a public park in Vancouver, Canada, where he had died by suicide by hanging. The loss shattered Walter and his wife Judy Levitt emotionally, and Koenig later spoke publicly about how difficult it became to continue living normally after his son's death. He spent years dealing with grief and emotional recovery while trying to support mental health awareness. Many fans still admire Walter Koenig not only for Alfred Bester, but also for the strength he showed after such a heartbreaking loss. Michael Mackenzie as Narn Captain/Markup victim. Covered beneath heavy alien masks and disease makeup, many viewers of Babylon 5 remember Michael Mackenzie for playing several smaller but important alien characters throughout the series. Born on July 16, 1955, Mackenzie was 39 years old when he appeared on Babylon 5 in 1994 and became familiar to fans through roles such as Narn Captains and infected Markup victims. Even without showing much of his real face on screen, his performances helped strengthen the realism of Babylon 5's alien world. As of 2026, Michael Mackenzie is 71 years old and has largely retired from mainstream acting after spending years working quietly in television and entertainment. He maintained a much more private life and stayed away from major Hollywood publicity. His long career in television and supporting roles has helped him build an estimated net worth of around $800,000. That quieter career was shaped heavily by the kinds of roles he kept receiving throughout his time in science fiction television. Mackenzie often played masked aliens, background officers, or heavily made-up characters whose real appearance audiences rarely recognized. Spending long hours inside uncomfortable prosthetics also limited the types of performances he could showcase on screen. Because casting directors mainly associated him with hidden or supporting alien roles, larger acting opportunities became difficult to secure later in his career. Even so, many Babylon 5 fans still appreciate the small but important characters he helped bring to life throughout the series. Wayne Alexander as Lorien/Drac. Hidden beneath layers of alien prosthetics, dark robes, and distorted voices, Wayne Alexander became one of the most recognizable hidden faces in Babylon 5. Born on June 16, 1953, Alexander was 42 years old when he portrayed Lorien and the terrifying Drac in 1995 and quickly helped give Babylon 5 many of its most unusual and mysterious creatures throughout the later seasons. As of 2026, Wayne Alexander is 73 years old and continues making occasional convention appearances while living a mostly private life away from mainstream Hollywood productions. Much of his income over the years has come from voice work, fan conventions, and science fiction events rather than major television or film projects. His long entertainment career has helped him build an estimated net worth of around $1.2 million. That career path also created major frustrations behind the scenes. Alexander spent years buried under thick makeup and masks while playing multiple alien characters, which meant many casual viewers never even recognized his real face. Although fans of Babylon 5 respected his range and versatility, Hollywood casting directors often saw him mainly as a prosthetic or creature actor rather than a mainstream on-screen performer. Because of that, larger acting opportunities remained limited for much of his career, and convention appearances became an important source of steady income over the years. Even so, many Babylon 5 fans still consider Wayne Alexander one of the series' most underrated performers. Maggie Egan as Jane/ISN anchor. Whenever ISN news reports appeared in Babylon 5, viewers often recognized the calm delivery and serious newsroom presence of Maggie Egan as Jane and the station's familiar news anchor. Raised in upstate New York, Maggie was around 40 years old when she appeared on Babylon 5 in 1994 and became one of the recurring faces audiences regularly saw throughout the series. As of 2026, Maggie Egan continues living a quieter life in Thousand Oaks, California, with her husband Jim Cummings and their daughter. Alongside acting, she has remained involved in writing plays and screenplays, including comedy projects set in Los Angeles, Ireland, and Las Vegas. Her long entertainment career, including more than 50 television and film credits, plus hundreds of commercial appearances, has helped her build an estimated net worth of around $500,000. That steady career also came with limitations that followed her for years. Because of her serious voice and polished appearance, Maggie was repeatedly cast as reporters, anchors, and television presenters instead of receiving more emotionally layered dramatic roles. Even though she studied acting for years in Houston and Los Angeles and trained with respected teachers like Gordon Hunt and Andy Goldberg, Hollywood often kept placing her into the same professional character type again and again. Rather than fighting constantly for major studio roles, Maggie gradually focused more on writing and family life, while continuing smaller entertainment projects on her own terms. Many Babylon 5 fans still remember her as one of the familiar faces that helped bring the station's world to life. So that's the tragic story behind how many beloved Babylon 5 stars faced heartbreak, illness, addiction, and loss away from the cameras. Which cast member's story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unforgettable Hollywood stories.